Senate returns today. They're going to resume negotiations over how to proceed with the impeachment trial, which Democrat has the best chance of securing the nomination. And, oh, by the way, the United States has launched an airstrike against Iranian General Qasem Soleimani.
There is that. Here to expand on all of this is Hill's editor-in-chief, Bob Cusack. He joins us with the return of the debrief.
That's right.
Great to see you, Bob.
Happy New Year.
All right, let's start with Iran. What are you hearing? What's the reaction on the Hill? Is it breaking down strictly along partisan lines?
Well, it is to some degree. I mean, there's some concern, certainly from Democrats, that who was briefed on this? We're hearing Lindsey Graham was briefed, but maybe not the Gang of Eight. What authorization did Trump have? Tim Kaine already calling for Trump's power to be curtailed here. And of course, the big question is, does this make us safer or not? And what are the repercussions? Because obviously Iran is vowing retaliation. I mean, you know, we were talking about, remember, Iran shot down a U.S. drone in June. Right. This is nothing compared to this. I mean, this is the closest to a new war that the Trump administration has ever encountered. And it's interesting that Mike Pompeo was already talking about de-escalation. Yes. Because they feel they're getting some international heat on this.
Yeah, they are. So the Secretary Pompeo was on some of the networks this morning talking about that de-escalation. He also said, Bob, that there was a possible imminent danger to American lives. Possibly, I think it was, I saw Josh Rogan in the Washington Post saying that it was a kidnapping plot that Iranian militias were planning there. However, to that point where you're talking about with Congress, that really is the most important thing here. Do you expect any congressional action? Would there be a curtailment, the War Powers Act? Legal analysis I've seen so far says that he was totally within the executive authority that they've given the president in order to carry out the strike.
Presidents have broad authority since 9/11.
Right.
So
Congress handed presidents broad authority.
That's right.
And have not done anything about it.
Not at all. And so I think you have to look to the House. What is the House going to do? I don't think Mitch McConnell is going to be doing much hearings, but could they actually pass something? I doubt it. Remember, also, we're going to have an impeachment during this new controversy, which is going to dominate the beginning of this year. I mean, this is quite a test for the administration, and it's not like this is going to unite the country.
Right. Progressives in Congress fought to get amendments added to the National Defense Authorization Act that would have required presidential, approval, congressional approval for the president to take this action. And Democratic leadership, to appease Republicans, basically rolled over on everything. And these amendments were taken out. And we're talking, this happened days ago. I mean, this is incredibly recently that they rolled over and gave the president these unchecked powers, even while they're claiming he's lawless and trying to impeach him on this hand. Meanwhile, they're just continuing to hand him a blank check in terms of his war powers.
And because of that, I think that's where Democratic leaders are going to be under more pressure to really have a stern warning to this White House, and that could lead to some more attention. Now, let's also, Soleimani was a guy who is an evil guy, and Iran has been basically bankrolling terrorism around the world. But that's the problem here, is that if you're an American in the Middle East, you've got to be very concerned. There's concern about evacuations now from Iraq, U.S. State Department personnel maybe. This is a big deal. But this is also somebody that the United States has been targeting for a while.
Yeah, there's no question about that. I said that earlier. I mean, this is somebody who has the blood of a lot of American citizens on his hands. I think the question right now is just about what the escalation is going to be, and that's why, I mean, as somebody who's watched this for a while, how do you feel that Congress, will they actually be able to have any role in this? Because it seemed like with Libya, nothing happened, right? I mean, it just seems like the president, under so many of the authorities that we've handed, has basically the ability to take, I mean, we literally decapitated a regime in Libya without a congressional vote. It's kind of astounding.
Yeah, foreign policy is very difficult for Congress to get involved because of that 9/11 authority. So there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of talk, but there's rarely any action, especially in this polarizing time. So, and of course, no White House, whether it's President Obama, President George W. Bush, President Trump, they don't want to give up authority. They want to grab more authority. So, and now they have it. And that's why we don't have votes on declaring war or declaring strikes.
After Iraq, nobody's ever going to vote on a war again. I really believe that because of how politically dangerous it is. But we should also talk about impeachment. I mean, what do we know currently about the trial? About it's so funny. I think Clinton had an Iraq crisis in the middle of his impeachment in 1998. So it's weird how history returns. What do we know about the impeachment impasse? I know Senator Josh Hawley is introducing a resolution today which would dismiss the impeachment trial because he said it's not in due process and the House is taking too long.
McConnell does not favor that. He didn't favor it for the Clinton impeachment. But it is interesting that some Republicans, including Hawley, are saying, let's just get rid of this and wipe it off.
Gift to Democrats.
Yeah, right.
In my view. Go ahead, buddy.
McConnell says they have to do a full trial.
Yes.
But we don't know how long it's going to be, the parameters. McConnell and Schumer have not been talking over the holidays, sources were telling our reporters in the Senate. So we don't know what's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be any type of deal between Schumer and McConnell, because if there's a deal, the left will give Schumer crap and the right will give McConnell crap.
Right.
Oh, why'd you give in
If
on
Hunter
X, Y,
Biden
and
doesn't
Z?
testify and a White House official does, then forget about it.
And what do you think about that? I mean, do Republicans want to call Hunter Biden? Do they want to subpoena Joe Biden? I mean, what's the thinking there?
A few do, but the important ones, the powerful ones, leadership, they don't want.
What about
Hunter
Trump?
Biden.
What does he want?
Well, I think that may change by the day, and that's where McConnell and Trump, I think, have been at odds behind the scenes, at least to some degree. But remember, McConnell has the votes, so I am sure he has probably told the White House, listen, if you try to have any senator introduce a motion to get Hunter Biden, we can vote that down, because leadership wouldn't vote for that.
That's interesting. So, Bob, we also have the fundraising numbers that came out yesterday. What did you make of the fundraising numbers? We don't have Elizabeth Warren's yet.
Yeah.
But Joe Biden, I think, put up 22 million. Bernie Sanders at 35 million, and Pete Buttigieg at 24. I mean, Biden at 22 is better than the 15 that he put up. It's still not good.
Impressive.
It's not great, but it's really
enough,
strong based upon his past history.
The
you know?
low bar.
Yeah, right. And he had his best debate in the last one. Now, Sanders' number is eye-popping. So
Huge.
It does show you that Sanders and Biden are there right at the top. Warren's camp has downplayed expectations. Yang had a good number. Is Yang going to beat Warren? We'll find out. But this shows you the energy behind Sanders. And there's some revived energy for Biden, because everyone's been predicting his demise, and he's right there. And Buttigieg, hey, listen, he's raising a lot of money too. And of course, as we discussed here before, he's got to do really well in Iowa and New Hampshire.
Yeah,
And the Hill's out with a new piece sort of ranking all the Democrats, which you've done in the past. What are the changes in the rankings in your estimate?
Well, months ago, we actually had Warren ahead of Biden because she was surging, and Niall Stanage, our crack reporter, he now is putting Biden up. And it's remarkable how things have changed, because Mike Bloomberg wasn't in the race, and he's not in the top tier, but he's in the top 10. Buttigieg has moved up. Klobuchar's right there. Klobuchar's got to do really well in Iowa, and her fundraising numbers were better.
pretty good, 11
than
million.
expected.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Biden's on top right now, and Sanders is right there. As Sanders is, Democrats on Capitol Hill, they'll privately tell you they're nervous about a Bernie Sanders winning the nomination. But with that amount of money, he is not going to be going away. I mean, no matter, he's going to obviously do well. He's going to win some states, maybe a lot of states, we'll see. But regardless, he's going to be going, just like he did in 2016, all the way to convention.
And he told that to Bob Costa over the Washington Post yesterday, saying, I will be going to the very end of this race. So
well, the other interesting thing, he's been taking some shots at Joe Biden, and earlier this week, took a shot at Elizabeth Warren on Medicare for All.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's getting a little nasty now.
It's not. Listen, Iowa is a month away from today. It's time to get real.
It is time. All right, Bob.
Bob, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Coming up, what is each presidential candidate's stance on Iran and other foreign policy issues?
Aaron Mate dives into each of the contenders' views with us, and what they've said so far about the assassination of Qasem Soleimani. That's when Rising continues.